Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first of hopefully many Amaz's auto chess guides for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or if you're a veteran. These guides are just going to help out everybody. I think I'm going to start with the hero or unit analysis. I'm going to talk about every unit in the game, what they're good at, what their skills are, whatever. So this is kind of geared towards a little beginners, but we have much more cool topics down the line, like, positioning or like, synergies, team compositions. There's so many topics to talk about in auto chess. So make sure to let me know if you like this and what changes you want me to make. But for now, this video is going to be on all the unit analysis. Next up, we have the 3-cost units. Oh, 3-cost units are exciting. They're really, really good. They're like the bulk of the, auto chess gameplay. Starting with Abby. Abby does 0 damage. Let's be honest. He does have 10 armor, so he does survive a lot of hits. And he's also a knight, so extra survivability on top of that. The auto shield is actually pretty good. It does AoE damage. It also heals, so it's fine. But generally speaking, Abby only goes in knight builds and undead builds. Drow plus Abby is actually really, really solid. It can actually carry you like most of the early game because undead with -5 armor to your entire opponent's team. It's just insane. But yeah, Abby's usually a trap. Usually. Okay? So be very careful of Abby. That's a C rank for me. A 1-cost unit is better than Lina. That's saying a freaking lot, okay? Lina got a lot of buffs, but she's still really bad, okay? So she does 0 damage, which means that her ulti doesn't charge. And when she does ulti something, you can't control what unit it hits, okay? Sometimes it hits a unit that it got summoned. Sometimes it hits a unit it can't kill immediately. And sometimes, for some goddamn reason, she ultis someone who's actually jumping, which means that it does 0 damage. You are not going to play an ulti that does 0 damage, like, some of the time. There's just no way. You cannot do that. That's just an F, okay? You do not want to play Lina ever unless you desperately need the human synergy or you desperately need the mage synergy. Sometimes you get desperate, but F's is like, you never want to play that shit, okay? so no, don't play Lina, dude. Lina is Omega Law. Alright, next up we have Lycan. So the 3-star of the utility means because it's just summons, right? Like, summons are so good in punishment strategies that Lycan is just awesome. The main problem of Lycan is that sometimes he just dies without getting summoning his wolves, which is bad. But if he does summon his wolves, it doesn't really matter if he dies afterwards. He just needs to freaking summon his wolves because the wolves are insane. The wolves also are assassins, so they can jump behind the enemy line and actually hit their drows and whatever. And a level 2 Lycan is just ridiculous. A level 2 Lycan actually becomes a frontline because, well, he can actually take damage and summon his wolves before dying. And he's also like a warrior, right? So, lots of survivability there. So just make sure that level 2 Lycan's insane. Level 1 Lycan is not that good. You do need to support level 1 Lycan. So you have a good front line, put Lycan to the side, make sure he ultis, and then that's fine. But generally speaking, Lycan's a good unit. So it's a B for me. Next up, we've got Omni Knight. Oh shit, what the heck? Okay, I did not edit the utility here. Okay, that is not a freaking 5-star utility, okay. Yeah, that's a 2-star utility. Okay. Jesus Christ. Okay. Whoopsies. Okay, so Omni Knight has a 2-star utility spell because the ability does do pure damage. So that's actually a very good AoE. It also pierces magic immunity. So sometimes it's kind of relevant against that Juggernaut that's spinning or whatever. But Omni Knight is good. It's kind of like the twin brother of Abaddon, because they both have 10 armor and they're both knights, so they can generate the knight shield, right? So Omni Knight is very solid if you need the front line. That's a B for me. It's a good unit. Phantom Assassin. One of the highest DPS units you can find in the game. However, she is squish as hell, okay? Someone, you just poke her and she dies. she has literally no utility because her ulti is just critical chance, right? So yeah, just pure damage. If you want a pure nuke guy that goes behind the enemy line, that's really good. She's really good at assassin comps because that's just extra crit. So, you know, you give extra crit chance, she gives a little bit more consistent damage. She's also not bad in elf builds. Elf builds actually make her survive a little bit more. And because elves have extra dodge chance, so your front line has a little bit more survivability, it gives your PA more time to, you know, kill your targets. So that's fine. But just, you know, as a unit as a whole, it's a C. So you gotta have to kind of warp your strategy around Phantom Assassin if you want to play her. Next up, we've got Razor. Humongous damage. Oh, the damage is ridiculous. This ulti hits the whole board. Okay? Like, it actually hits the whole board. He also gets in a very specific attack pattern. So he has his range is 2 squares, right? 2 squares away. Which is actually the perfect distance for this because the plasma field deals more damage at the edges, right? So he positions himself correctly. He ultis and does a lot of damage. And that's just what you want for a mage, man. Razor is a very solid unit A. If you have mages, even better because it deals 40% more damage. And Razor 2 is just, oh my god. Every time I see a Razor 2 early on, I just know I'm going to lose every single fight because Razor 2 actually one-shots Shadow Fiend, which is something very interesting. With like, so if you have Razor 2 stars and if the mage buff, their Shadow Fiends actually just melt. So that's something that just beats a lot of comps. So yeah, just take that, just get that Razor 2 star, get that mage synergy, and just melt the entire test. Okay, we have Shadow Fiend here. One of the most broken 3-star units. He actually has 5 stars on damage because he actually has 2 abilities. This ability, Necromastery, is actually not shown, but he gets it at the start of each round. Necromastery adds, basically adds 12 damage and 6 souls. 6 souls doesn't really mean anything. Okay, it doesn't really mean much. But he actually gets 12 damage on top of his 75 damage on top of Demon Synergy. So his auto attacks actually deal 120 damage a hit in the early game at level 1. Like a 1-star Shadow Fiend deals 120 damage. That is ridiculous. His ulti can actually sometimes deal twice the damage. So when Shadow Fiend ults, there's 2 lines of damage or 2 lines of damage that goes through, right? If there's a unit that's directly in front of you, the 2 lines actually hits twice. So it actually deals twice the amount of damage, which is ridiculous. But yeah, like, Shadow Fiend is ridiculous damage. It's an S tier right now. Like, you see a Shadow Fiend, you take a Shadow Fiend, because once you take a Shadow Fiend, you can just take some frontline units, and then he can just become all your damage. Like, honestly, I think this is like 3 units worth of damage, which is insane. Obviously, he's balanced by the fact that he just dies. So, if you have an assassin, you can just, you know, kill off a Shadow Fiend. Like a bounty hunter is actually the best way to deal with Shadow Fiend. If you have a Quap, then, you know, shift off the Quap from the front line, put the Quap in the back line, make her assassinate Shadow Fiend. But otherwise, if you see a Shadow Fiend, just take the Shadow Fiend. Super powerful unit. Just absolutely ridiculous. We got Sniper. Oh god, he does a lot of damage, sure. Very high DPS because his auto attack does a lot of damage, but literally no survivability. He gets poked down, he dies. No utility because his ulti is not actually an increase on DPS, alright? Like, if he auto attacks the whole way, it'll basically even be better. So that's an F tier for me. You do not want to play Sniper usually, unless you're going Hunters. And even if you're going Hunters, are you really that happy with a Sniper? No, Sniper is terrible. It's just shit tier, dude. Not good. Alright, next up we got Terrorblade. Terrorblade actually doesn't do a lot of damage until he transforms. And then he becomes ridiculous because, well, he buffs himself with insane amounts of attack. Combine that with the pure damage that the demons deal. It's really, really good. But, once again, getting him to transform is very difficult. He does like no damage before he transforms, and then you need the damage for him to transform, right? So that kind of works against himself. You do no damage, so you gain no mana, and then when you're at a lot of mana already, you're probably dying. So Terrorblade gets a C for me. The good way to make Terrorblade work is if you can dump a lot of items on him, or if you can get a 2-star Terrorblade really, really quickly. You also need a very good front line for him. So that's a lot of ifs. So if you can meet all those ifs, then sure, go crazy. But Terrorblade, very hard to work. Very hard to make him work. Oh, god damn it. Venomancer is... yeah, okay? He has a very good ult. Because it's a punishment strategy, right? You make more summons, you deal more damage. If you have a Void Stone, Venomancer gets really good. But he's also one of the few units that has 0 armor in the game. He literally just dies to everything, okay? You put him in the backline, you hope he summons a lot of wards, and you hope you punish your opponent. Because if you're freaking losing, okay, let me tell you. If you're losing the game, Venomancer is unplayable. And you're losing the game probably because you have Venomancer, okay? You do not want Veno unless you're winning and you want to punish them. So that's an F for me, okay? That's an F. You do not want Venomancer, okay? Terrible. Next up, we have Papaya. Papaya is actually very strong. His ulti has a lot of utility. It slows down their speed, their attack speed, and their movement speed. So you basically neuter a target. And if you get the dragon synergy, you actually automatically cast this at the start of the game. So if you cast this on a key unit like Shadow Fiend, on Dragon Knight, on anything that deals damage at all, then you basically remove a unit from their board. So Viper is actually a very, very strong unit. I'm gonna give this a B. Viper very strong, and of course, if you can make him work in Assassins, that'll be great. If you can make him work in Dragons, that'll be great. That's usually the two best homes for this unit. And finally, we have Windrunner. Windrunner does insane amounts of DPS. She shoots really fast, one of the highest attack speeds, and also very high damage in the game. And her power shot deals a heck load of damage. Super good hunter right there. Obviously, sometimes she's a little high, and she shoots her arrow at air. Like, sometimes she doesn't hit anything. So you really need to position Windrunner in the corner. So you want to maximize the chances that she hits stuff, right? But Windrunner is a very solid unit. I'm going to give her a B. And also gets a lot better in hunter builds. Also gets a lot better in builds with a lot of frontline. So make sure you keep her in mind. Super strong. All right, let me take a little bit of water before we go on to the 4-cost units. All right, 4-cost units. Now we're getting really powerful cards. First up, we have Alchemist. Oh god, Alchemist is so buff. He is so fat. He has 1,000 health at level 1 and 2,000 health at level 2. That's a lot of survivability. And the fact that he has 1,000 health is actually the sweet spot. I have never seen an Alchemist die without casting the acidic slime, whatever this ulti is. I've never seen that happen before. So Alchemist always casts this off. The cast point for this ability must be like really, really good, because he always gets it off. The ooze ability is also even better because it gives negative armor. So not only does it deal physical damage, it deals like I think about 150 damage. It also gives them -5 armor. So all your other physical damage deals 20% more damage. That is insane utility. That's an AoE ability too. So man, Alchemist has been just overperforming in most of my comps, and even better in physical damage comps. Alchemist is an A. Very, very strong. If you need a frontline, you take him. If you need AoE, you take him. If you're physical cleave, like if you're warrior cleave, which I will talk about more in my composition video, I guess, you take him. He's a super strong unit. Oh god, next up we got Disruptor. That is a 5-star utility unit. First 5-star utility unit we saw. God, the fact that this ulti comes off immediately is just absolutely bonkers. It's an AoE silence that deals damage, right? That comes off immediately. So it's not like a Kunkka where you have to wait for the boat. It just goes off. And then by the time it disappears, you should be able to pick off the key targets, such as, you know, Tidehunter or Medusa or stuff like that. That would be really, really good. Also, very relevant tribes. He's an orc. So if you have Disruptor with another orc, then, you know, extra health there. If you have 4 orcs, then God bless, all the health. And he's also a shaman. So if you got the Shadow Shaman as well with Disruptor, you actually have an insta-hex in the early in the game. So Disruptor is a very, very strong unit. That's an A tier right there. Very, very powerful. You do want to pick this up if you're running any sort of comp of damage, honestly. Just like get that ulti out of there and then just like wreck face, you know. Super powerful. Alright, next up we got Doom. Like, the stat line for Doom is insane. Okay, like he's actually super overstated. He does so much damage. Every time he swings his blade, it's like he hits like a truck. He's also insane in front line, right? Like he has a lot of health, and his ulti is insane as well. It's a 20-second silence that deals a lot of damage. I think this deals like 1200 damage in level 1 or something stupid like that. Just Doom is insane. The main reason people don't go Doom though is because they already have a demon. Because it's a 4-cost demon, it's very hard to you know, delete your 2-star demon for Doom, right? Like Chaos Knight, Quap, Shadow Fiend, you know. That's usually why people don't pick Doom. However, if you're a comp that doesn't have a demon and you see Doom later, you automatically snap him up, dude. Like, you do not pass this up. 2-star Doom is just... It's just actually game-breaking. Doom also has, like, a very good priority system where it targets a high... the highest level unit on your opponent's side. So, you know, you usually Doom their Razor level 2. You Doom their Lone Druid. That happens so often. So just make sure you put Doom in the front line if they have one of those key units, you know, what Doom. Like Medusa too. He always Dooms the highest level unit, like 70% of the time, which is very, very solid. So perfect. Very good Doom. This is Dragon Knight, okay? Dragon Knight has a very weird rating where he does no damage if you don't transform him, okay? And then after you transform him, 5 stars. Okay, he does one of the most damage in the game because, well, first of all, level 1 Dragon Knight doesn't really do too much damage. Okay, fine. But then level 2 and level 3 Dragon Knights, they splash. Okay, the damage, wherever it hits, it splashes on a 5x5 square. So it's actually huge. That's a huge splash. So if you have a great front line, and if you can transform Dragon Knight immediately under 2 stars, he just melts the entire team. You can also put more items on him, and it just kind of goes ham. So very good win condition. Doesn't ask a lot of you because it only asks you to have 3 units, right? Dragon Knight, Papaya, and Puck, right? You just need those 3 units, and you're fine. So yeah, Dragon Knight gets an A. Now, most beginners tunnel vision into Dragon Knights. As soon as they get the first Dragon Knight, they go like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go Dragons. You have to scout. Very important when you play Dragon Knight. If there are 3 Dragon players, all 3 players will lose. Okay? So it depends on if you want to win the game. My recommendation is if there are 3 Dragon players, you want to be off Dragons as soon as you want. Okay, sure, you make the other Dragon players a little bit better. And if everybody thinks that way, then you should not get off Dragons. But just know that it's a fact, okay? If 3 people go Dragons, all 3 players will lose. So, what kind of personality are you? Are you a teamwork person or are you a greedy person? That's for you to decide. All right, next up we have Caudill. Caudill does have a lot of health, but usually place him in the back because his ulti is a very huge AoE, right? He does a lot of damage. However, there's a big problem with Keeper of the Light. He does no damage, okay? And because he does no damage, he does not charge up his ulti fast enough, which means that he's a C. The best comp for Keeper of the Light is Crystal Maiden, actually, because Crystal Maiden is also a mage, is also a human, so you can actually get some disarms off, which is very relevant. And then CM charges the Keeper of the Light ulti, and then Keeper of the Light can just ulti. The ulti is you can't shrug this off. It does a lot of freaking damage. It does damage to the whole board. It deals 300 damage in rank 1, I believe. It might be 3. It should be 300, right? Yeah, it should be 300. That's a lot of damage. But yeah, you do need to warp your composition around this fact that he can't ulti by himself. Okay, so it's a C. Next up, we've got Kunkka. Possibly the king of utility, I guess. I mean, just the ship is just so freaking big. It hits a 5x5 square. It's huge. And he also has 10 armor for some goddamn reason. So it's an insane front line. 950 HP, I believe. Level 1 is 950 HP with 10 armor. And then the ghost ship, right? So Kunkka is insane. The ship got nerfed recently with... it doesn't do as much damage. But the stun got buffed. So a level 2 Kunkka actually stuns for ages. So that's actually a very easy A tier here, Kunkka. Not as powerful as people thought. Like when the game first came out, Kunkka was actually an auto pick. However, there's a lot of Kunkkas right now that are 4 stars. Like Disruptor is kind of like a Kunkka. Medusa is kind of like a Kunkka. So there's a lot of different versions of Kunkka that are available that makes it so that he's not like insane, but still he's he's still really, really powerful. Human warrior, 2 very relevant creature types. Just pick Kunkka when you see him. Like don't let the not S tier distract the fact that this is still a very good unit. All right, onwards to Lone Druid. Holy shit, Lone Druid is ridiculous. Okay, so Lone Druid deals good damage. It's actually really good at survivability because he summons a bear. Okay, like. He's literally 2 units in 1. That's a lot of survivability. A lot of people also don't know that Lone Druid also has natural magic resistance, so he doesn't get bursted down by mages. And, of course, the utility is out of this world. The bear that he summons has a 25% chance to stun its target for 3 seconds. Which is, like, why? Why does it stun for 3 seconds and 25%? I've seen, like... If you play this game, you will see bears that actually just solo the entire opponent team, right? I've seen bears that just kill 3 units or 4 units by itself, right? It's so buff. It deals so much damage. Lone Druid is definitely an S tier. It's so easy to combine as well because he's a druid. You just need 2 Lone Druids to combine to a 2-star unit. And then a 3-star Lone Druid is not hard to get at all. Super powerful card. You really want this... as it just goes into every matchup, right? It's a good frontline unit. It's a good win condition. It's a good utility unit because it stuns everything. It's just solid. Next up, we've got Medusa. Possibly one of the most... Like, Medusa was, like, so underrated early on, and now everybody is, like, scared of Medusa. The, like, 5-star on utility, dude. Her ulti is just game-breaking, okay? So, when she activates her ulti, it slows... Well, first of all, it slows attack speed and movement speed, right? And then, if they stare at her for 2 seconds, they get stunned for 3 to 5 seconds, depending on rank. And when they are turned to stone, so when they're stunned, they take 30% more physical damage. That is, like, the most stacked ulti I've ever heard. Like, it has a million effects. There's also another extra thing, is that when she's using her ulti, it's not channeled. So once she uses her ulti, she could get stunned, and the ulti is still happening. That's actually ridiculous. This ulti is not reasonable at all. This ulti is so stacked that, like, a 2-star Medusa can just win the game, right? As long as Medusa ultis, you win the game. That's the S tier right there. The best unit to pair with this is Tidehunter, because if you can make both the ultis go off the same time, it's actually just a perma-stun. Okay, like it's just perma-stun. This unit is rigged. Okay, you do not want to pass Medusa. You really don't want to do that. The problem with Medusa sometimes is that level 1, she just dies. So if you have a level 1 Medusa, you need to kind of support her with either the Hunter Tribe so that you make her do more damage, or you want to give her like a Void Stone or like a Broadsword. Put items on her, okay? Like, you want this ulti to go off. The ulti goes off, you win the game. That's basically how it works. Really. Very powerful. Next up, we've got Necro. Oh god, Necro is one of my favorite units, dude. Oh my god, Necro is so good. Okay. his ulti is on a 5-second cooldown. Okay? And it not only damages all your opponent's units, it also heals all your units in a 5x5 square. Okay? Like that like this is such a long reach. It's so freaking good. Did I mention that Necro has 850 health at level 1? Like, that is like godly amounts of health. Okay, it's just godly. You still want to put him on the back line because you want him to ulti twice in the match. But like, God, this guy is just so good. He's also Undead Warlock, which is like two very, very relevant tribes. And because he's an undead, his auto attacks actually hit pretty hard. And then because he deals damage with auto attacks, he can charge his ulti really fast. Man, Necro is just, the whole package is just beautiful, right? I'm going to give this A. It's just such a beautiful unit. One of my favorite units to build. Just put him near the middle. Just every time you see him ulti, just watch the health bars. Look at the health bars and you can see how strong this character is. Very, very powerful. Next up, we've got Templar Assassin. Templar Assassin recently got nerfed, but she still does what she is designed to do, which is just everything. Okay, she does very good damage. I think she's the highest base damage in the game. She does 100 damage a hit, and her refraction ability is kind of broken. Refraction ignores 4, 6, or 8, depending on rank, yeah, instances of damage, and also buffs her own damage by 4, 6, or 8. So her next 4, 6, or 8 attacks deal extra damage. This is busted. This ability is not fair. However, you do want to make her work somehow. So you can run her elves. Dude, oh my god. If she's an elves, that's just ridiculous. Because if she gets evasion with refraction up, she is just never dying to auto attacks, right? You can also build her in assassins, which means that she does godly amounts of damage with the refraction. And then you can also just build her as like a carry. So if you can put a lot of items on her, if you have a lot of frontline, if your opponent's running an SF or something like that, you can just destroy it. So T gets a very solid A for me. Like the nerf is not enough for her to be bad. T is still very, very strong card, and you want to kind of, like when you see a TA, you kind of want to warp your comp around her if possible. Next up, we got Troll. Possibly the king of damage. Okay, like he does godly amounts of damage. Focus fires down a unit really fast because of his passive, which gives extra attack speed when he attacks the same target. And he's also a troll, so he gains extra attack speed with the troll. So, like, I mean, she's just insane, right? Like, I don't know. Like, you get a troll build, you have damage sorted out. As soon as you do that, you need to find CC somewhere. You need to find utility. So you want to pair troll with Medusa, Tidehunter. You want to pair with Kunkka. You want to just stun your opponent so that she just kills everything. Okay, so troll's an A. Just a very solid win condition. Okay. All right. Finally, we have the 5-star legendary units. Oh god, these are the most poggers units you're gonna see. Starting off with Enigma. Okay, Enig is just one of the highest damage units in the entire game because of Midnight Pulse. So Midnight Pulse deals 5% of pure damage. So pure damage is you cannot block it. So it goes through armor, it goes through magic resist, it goes through magic immune, it goes through freaking everything. And it is so big. Dude, it's so big. The AoE just covers everything, right? He's also a warlock, which is cool, whatever. But look, you're playing Enig for the freaking AoE, okay? If your comp is all just tanks, so there's a lot of comps that have a lot of tanks, like orcs and warriors or whatever. They usually have just a lot of survivability, but no damage. You just put an Enig in there, and then you're pretty much good. His damage is just off the charts. So that's an S tier right there. Like, he actually just... The damage is insane. You don't think Enig is good? Enig is good. At level 1, it's remove half of all the units he's ulting. like half health. That's just half health. I think level 2 Enigma is 7%. So that's 70% damage. And then level 3, well, there's no way you can level 3. Okay. So level 2 is 70% damage on all units. That's just utterly ridiculous. So, yeah. Pick the Enigma if you need the damage. Next up, we've got Gyrocopter. Also ridiculous in the damage department. Also, he can also attack really fast. I mean, his ulti covers the entire screen. Okay? Like, it's actually the entire screen. I think Garrus level 1 is 400 damage, right? So it's 200 first hit, 200 second hit. And then it gets better as you level him up or whatever, right? But yeah, you place him in pretty much the back line. If it's level 2, you could also place him in the front line to just get his ulti off a little bit quicker. But, you know, not as strong as the other legendary units as we're going to see. I rate him as an A. Usually, you don't really want Gyro unless you really, like, how do I say it? You really need a ranged carry unit that deals a lot of damage. So, yeah. Keep in mind that this cooldown on his cooldown is actually really, really short. There's, it's not rare to see a Gyrocopter ulti twice, although the second ulti is not really that good. Because, what's it called? I mean, by the time he ultis like the second time, most units have probably disappeared anyways, right? You probably have won the fight already, or you probably lost the fight already. But it's just something to keep in mind, you know. But once again, lots of damage, really good if you need that. Next up, we've got Techies. Holy shit, Techies can just freaking blow up the board. All right, like, God, he puts a ball down, he deals physical damage, he goes kaboom, and your opponent is just literally crying. Techies is super good. He's in insane frontline. He has 10 armor, lots of health, lots of armor, and like kaboom, dude. Okay, what do I need to say? That's an S tier right there. Like, super good win condition. If you're making goblins, then you want the Techies, obviously, because Techies is both your final piece of goblins and also deals a lot of damage. If your comp is missing damage, you can just put Techies in. Just all around, just super solid. Put him in the front, by the way. Just remember to put him in the front. Otherwise, he's not going to ulti. He does no damage when he auto attacks, but the bomb is just kaboom, dude. And now, of course, last but certainly not least, Tide Hunter, dude. The king of utility. There's actually 6 stars here, but it didn't fit on the slide, dude. It actually didn't fit. Let's just give him an S tier immediately and just kind of explain why for the new players. The Tide Hunter stuns for freaking 2 seconds in the entire board. Okay? By the time the stun wears off, your opponent's units are gonna die, right? Because the other units are there, right? So basically what this is, it's you're removing other units from the game. You're removing your opponent's units from the game. And that's actually really, really strong. Because your opponents are going to have Disruptors. Your opponents are going to have the Medusas or whatever, right? So Tide Hunter just lets all your other units perform much better. The main challenge of Tide Hunter is to not have him one-shot. So if you have a level 1 Tide Hunter, make sure you position it correctly so it doesn't die immediately. Because as soon as it gets its ulti off, which by the way is instant stuns are insane. You just basically all the other units can carry you. Okay, so Titans are insane. S tier. And that's it. That's the Dota Auto Chess tier list. I'm just gonna put the February date here, just so you know, because you know this game is constantly patching its units. There's a nice little chart here if you wanna refer to this, you know, as you play the game or whatever. But this is the tier list. Super happy about this game. Let me know how much you guys. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video or what you guys want me to improve on, and what other topics you want me to talk about? Like, what other guides do you want me to make? Do you want me to make a positioning guide? I've seen a lot of requests for positioning guides, so that's probably the next one. But if you guys want other, you know, topics on auto chess, make sure you let me know because, hey, guys, I got Queen, okay? I know what I'm talking about sometimes. What I need to do is I need to figure out a guide. I need to look up a guide to see how I not miss units because that's the worst thing I can do. Like, I miss units all the time. So, yeah. But here you go. This is the Amaz tier list. Good luck in your auto chess games. Make sure to watch more Amaz YouTube videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one.